There is a moment in every life when you decide to rise, to stand taller than your fear, to speak louder than your doubt, to chase the vision that sets your soul on fire. This is that moment. And here, we walk it together with stories that awaken, voices that inspire, and truths that set you free. This is Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, where hope has a voice, and that voice is yours. And welcome to the show, everybody. It's a special time here for us. Rochelle is with me. Rochelle, how are you today?
I'm so good, Kevin. We've had quite the impactful day, and we get to spend the last of it ending with such a powerful show. So I would love you to introduce our next guest and learn about him.
He is been described as a spiritual coach. He's an enlightenment expert, but he's also more of a reality coach. And he talks in terms of the reality of life. And I hope I haven't misstated that. Vishrant, he comes to us from Western Australia. I would love to have a Western Australia accent, but I don't, sadly.
You're welcome to learn.
I've tried. I really have. And I can do other accents, but Australian, I just don't do well. In any event, it is awesome to have you here. We're looking forward to an amazing hour together.
Let's have some fun together, mate.
Let's do it indeed. Rochelle, have you had a chance to review his website at all? Which, by the way, if you go to Vishrant.org, that's where you will find him. He has classes. He's got a bunch of videos that you can watch. Some of them are going to give you a new perspective. That would be a good way to put it, would it not, Vishrant?
I would say so, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about, you've been doing this since Rochelle was born in, I hope this doesn't make you feel old, but Rochelle was born in 1999, and you've been doing this since then.
I have been, that's true, but then again, it started a lot earlier than that. I've been at this since I was 19 years old, so we're going back a heck of a lot of years. 1973, I think. 73, yeah.
Yeah.
And I got into personal growth big time and shifted from personal growth after about 8 years to spiritual growth, which is different. But in between, while I was doing that, I started a publishing company and I retired when I was 28 because I'd made so much money it wasn't funny as a publisher, and I didn't need to work anymore, and that allowed me to travel to America and other places to pursue my spiritual quest.
So what sparks this? Sorry, Karen, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Rochelle.
So I'm just curious, what sparked that at 19 to pursue that forever on?
Well, I was a total dropkick. I had dropped out of school. I was involved in street gangs, and I saw that my future didn't involve going to university. It involved me being an entrepreneur. And so I started as an entrepreneur. I went to different courses on how to be successful at business, and I became what I would call an unstoppable human being. In other words, if I decided to do something, that's exactly what happened. There was no giving up. There was no retreat. There was no surrender.
Yeah.
And is that due to a particular moment or episode, or was it an evolutionary process that you have been on for the last 50 years or so?
Yeah, well, we got to go back a bit further. I was an uncontrollable child, and I was expelled from 4 kindergartens, apparently before the age of 5, to give you a bit of history on my background.
That's some kind of record, I think. I've never heard of that before, that you can get expelled from kindergarten.
You could get expelled if you put other kids in danger, apparently, and I was forever leading kids astray and putting them in danger. So I got expelled from 4 kindergartens. I got expelled from my high school as well for something dangerous. I was a wild one. I didn't have parental supervision like most people. My parents stopped supervising me when I was about 2.5, and I became a wild one, and I became a street warrior.
Yeah, makes
Who
sense.
drives a Mustang today? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, I love cars and I love powerful cars. My first job was as a mechanic. I actually did an apprenticeship in mechanics, and I worked on Fords. So when I ended up getting a little bit of money, I decided to buy a Shelby, a Ford Shelby, Mustang Shelby. And I have another Mustang as well, a standards one, because I love powerful vehicles.
Well, and you're a powerful man in and of your own right. I've watched some of your videos. I highly recommend them because they're going to give you a different perspective. If you were to talk about the perspective that you bring to people and to life, what would that perspective be?
Well, it's pretty simple, really. There's only one thing that's valuable here, and that's love. There's nothing else valuable here. I got to the top of the pile when I was 28, and I had the cars, the boats, the penthouse in the expensive suburb, and there's nothing there. We got lied to. We were told that if we were super successful, we'd be super happy. Well, it just isn't true. What happens if you're super successful is you can't stop. You just keep going and going and going. And that changed, that understanding that there was nothing at the top changed my life. And I started to look at what was real and what wasn't real. And the only thing that I could find that was truly valuable on this planet was love.
At the end of the day, as the my favorite band of all time would say, all you need is love.
Yeah. All you
And I
need
have
is
to ask
love.
you, Vishrant, from the perspective of being that chaotic little crazy child and struggling and having all these things and then making that switch, you experienced what some may say the dark side or the not so good of it. Do you believe that being able to go through that and being the person that you were is what was able to launch you forward so more in your spirituality, and not be so connected to the materialistic things?
Well, I think needing to stand alone helped a great deal because as a kid, I wasn't accepted by my teachers, my parents, by other students. So I had to learn to stand alone. And
Yeah.
when you can stand alone, you can really go ahead. If you're leaning on people and they move away, you fall over. It's pretty simple. So I learned to stand alone when I was very young, and I just decided to make it work for myself. I put my totality into whatever I did. And when you put your totality into anything, the chances of success are pretty high.
So I've heard. I'm actually experiencing that right now.
She's growing to a great degree, and you've been doing this for your whole life. When you became a publisher and became in the world would be successful. What did your parents say? What did your teachers say? Did they go, gee, boy, did we have that wrong?
No, that's not what happened. I got some of my father's friends on one of my launches. I had a 45-foot launch, and they couldn't believe that it was my boat. They couldn't believe that the failure had made it so big in life. So I didn't get the compliments from my parents or my friends, parents' friends. Basically, I just stood alone. I was a bit of a rat bag. I did it my way, and I took care of everyone that was working for me. And I learned very quickly that if you take care of everyone that works for you, they take care of you.
Mhm.
And so I had a very, very loyal staff that made it work for me. And that's why I was able to retire at 28, because from day one that I started retiring. I started replacing myself in my business. And so it set me up for a life where I had the time to do what I wanted to do, because people think that what success is money. It's not. It's time. Time is what's valuable here. And I got given the time to travel around the world and visit wonderful places like America and do all sorts of amazing courses with different people who trained me and helped me change into something much more likable. That's a good way of putting it.
Well, you are a very likable man. And are you familiar with a gentleman by the name of Neale Donald Walsch?
No, I'm not.
He wrote Conversations with God amongst 40 other books. And
I have actually read that. I did. I'd forgotten his name.
yes. And his son came to him one day and he said, "Dad, have you ever read the books that you've written?" Because apparently he was an imperfect messenger. If you were to describe yourself, how would you describe yourself as a messenger of hope and of love?
I tell the truth. I'm a reality teacher. The world is in a lot of ways deluded into thinking things that simply aren't true. I tell the truth, and I tell it without watering it down. I tell it strong. So only the strong can handle it in a lot of ways. But I think that someone who's a seeker, someone who's interested in higher consciousness, someone who's interested in spirituality, someone who's interested in improving themselves deserves the truth, not some watered down version of it. And so I tell the truth. I'm a reality teacher.
You do realize that that is in the world of spirituality, that's a little bit of a misnomer, because a lot of people are. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I'm not into the smells and bells. I think holy is bullshit. I got to the top of the range in the spiritual world. I woke up 26 years ago. I've been enlightened ever since, and it's beautiful. It's wonderful, but it's not holy. I'm the same as you. We are one. Anyone who says they're holy is full of it, I'm afraid. We are the same. We're all the same.
I have often said, and I'd love your opinion on this, I believe the day of the guru is dead.
Depends what you think a guru is. A guru is another name for teacher.
Very, very good point. My reference of a guru is somebody who stands in front of the room and says, "Look at me and do what I do, and you can be like me someday, but you're going to have to work really hard at it because I'm special."
That doesn't work. Basically, you have to look at yourself, not at the guru. You've got to work out what's going on inside of you, not what's going on outside of you. And so look at me, look at me, look at me is just bull dust. It's more holy stuff. So I actually teach a way towards higher consciousness that doesn't involve the holy, doesn't involve spiritual nonsense. And I love what I do, and I love you guys.
You are amazing, because I also agree with you that spirituality is a day-to-day existence of realness and not foo-foo or highfalutin ideas that require something different, something outside of yourself, because everything comes from you. Is that right?
Agreed.
Yeah.
And everything comes from inside of you. And if we change the way we are operating inside ourselves, we can have a beautiful life. And if we change it enough, we can find heart. Because heart or love appears when we're open. It doesn't appear when we're closed, when we're defended. Yet most of us are defended. Most of us are closed. Most of us are stuck in that and out of touch with what's really valuable here, which is love.
Rochelle, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm just thinking so much about how spirituality is reality. It's not separate. And you can't live one without the other, if that makes sense. And I know we need to take a quick break, but Vishrant, when we come back,
we're going to go ahead and forego
Okay.
that one. So to keep you
Okay,
here.
perfect. Yeah, I'm wondering, Vishrant, what was it like in the moment when you did retire and you were able to plan
That's a Harry
the
Potter
next
mug, by the way.
I love that. What was it like when you were able to plan out like the whole next version of what you were gonna do? Like, what went through your mind?
Well, there's different parts of it. I went traveling when I retired, but at some point I got to see that the whole world was suffering, that everybody suffers because they resist life. And I could see that I was suffering, and I had some experiences where I found unconditional love. The first time was I was lost at sea in a runabout. I was 60 miles off the coast of West Australia. There was a cyclone coming down, and the boat had sunk. I was in the water up to the gunnels with my partner, and we were being circled by sharks. Anyway, after about 12 hours, I had a good look at what was going on, and I realized I was going to die. And I realized that my partner was going to die. She was in the water with me. And I felt so much regret that I'd cost her life because I'd gone out there without checking the weather.
Mm.
And in that moment, something happened. Something opened up inside of me, and I felt this magnificent unconditional love that I'd never, ever experienced before. And I remembered it later, but at the time, it was just so wonderful. I didn't know what it was. It was just so beautiful to have this unconditional love. And that's what really set me on changing my direction of life. This experience of unconditional love that happened to me as when I was in the water. We got rescued at 2:00 in the morning by a ship called the BP Endeavour, which was a tanker. And the sharks didn't get us, but well, needless to say. And I did marry that woman, and we did have a beautiful daughter together. So that worked out okay.
Well, what is unconditional love to you?
Well, love is not anything to do with the mind. It's something separate that is always here. It's just that people don't perceive it because they're too closed, too busy, too defended. It's always here. And it doesn't have any other qualities except one. It loves. It loves. Love loves. And I decided that it was worth going for. And so that's why I eventually walked into my companies, because I still owned my companies, and handed my companies over to my staff. And it was a multi-million-dollar company, including 14 offices of furniture, the whole lot. And I then took my shoes off and I walked around Australia for 4 years as a bum looking for my heart, which I found. And that's why I'm talking to you today, because I love you.
Well, I got to say that we love you too. You're a remarkable human being because well, for a whole bunch of reasons, but I agree with you 100%. Money is not the object of why we're here. I believe that love is the object of why we're here, and to take care of each other. And especially when you were in business and you were a business owner and you had people that worked for you that you cared deeply about, and you wanted the best for them as well. And so therefore they made your company such a much bigger success because of the work that they did for you.
They did. That's why I didn't sell the company, because I could have sold it, but I didn't sell it because if I sold it, they might have got fired. They may have lost their jobs. And so I thought about it and I thought, what do I really want to do here? I want to take care of them, even though I don't want to be involved anymore. So I gave the company to them, every part of it, including all the money that was owed to the company.
When you did that, what was their response? Because there had to be somebody had to be. It was a drop the jaw on the floor moment.
Mm-hmm.
They rejected it totally, totally, and I had to come back a week later and do it again. And this time I left. This time I didn't come back, and they were stuck with it. And they created different companies from that company. So it's still going to this day, parts of it. But I never had a regret at doing that. It was the best thing I did, because as a businessman, I'd armored myself up and I was out of touch with my heart because of that armor. And the only way I could get rid of the armor was to get rid of the business. It was simple. It was simple for me. I just couldn't remain heartless. I had to find heart, and to do that, I had to get rid of the armor, and the armor was my business.
And by the way, I was just Australia has got the 9 deadliest snakes in the world, and you spent 4 years walking around barefoot. That's an act of faith all by itself.
Well, I live on a property up in the hills that has 3 types of deadly snakes, and we're just moving in the summer, so they're out. We got death adders, 𝐬𝐞𝐥𝐟 and tiger snakes here, and they're the top 10 deadliest, and in the top 10 deadliest. And I still walk around barefoot.
Well, I'd love to come visit you, but
look, I look where I'm talking, where I'm walking. I opened the back door one day of my house, and it was nighttime, and there was a death adder sitting on the damn mat right in front of me. It's like,
hi, bye.
Have a nice day. You can come see me in Seattle. We don't have any snakes or anything like that here.
you don't want to let the snakes put you off. I also have kangaroos on the property and possums and all other sorts of wildlife as well that are very beautiful, because I live in the bush. I live on, I think, 12.5 acres up here altogether of bushland, and most of it's treed. And so we've got a lot of wildlife because we're on this edge of the state forest.
Oh, and well,
that is like a huge importance with you when it comes to just being alive and being thankful and understanding that everything is alive and it has its purpose, rather than being so human and, well, my yard ends here and we got to put poison around the edges and we got to cut down that tree. Does it help you just stay grounded and connected to all things easier than maybe living in an apartment complex?
I actually don't experience myself as separate from anything. Part of enlightenment, which is probably unknown to you guys, is you find yourself as one with everything. And so I feel one with everything. It's like, for me, it's like I'm even talking to myself right now. And I'm talking to parts of myself that are really nice. So I'm very happy about that.
Well, the thing about life is it's a journey, but when you are one with everything, it makes it a lot more fun to have that journey. And and I do have to ask you, because as you were swimming or next to your boat and you were being circled by sharks, and you had this unbelievable feeling of love, are you sure that wasn't like Fear? I'd be fearful at that moment. But do you recall that moment and what it meant to you at the time?
Well, I'll talk to you a little bit about fear. I dealt with fear when I was a kid. I made it okay to be killed. I made it okay to be hurt. And in so doing so, I actually defeated fear to a large degree. I stopped resisting fear and started making whatever I was frightened of okay. And so I didn't experience fear when I was in the water. And I did have to dive in the water and leave the boat completely to get onto the net that the ship had put down. And I had to swim through the sharks. But there wasn't any fear. Fear is one of those things that can be conquered if you allow the worst to happen in your mind. Fear only gains power when we resist what we're frightened of. When we actually make it okay, fear loses power.
Well, I'm going to have to go to a place that has snakes then, because that's that.
I'm not advocating that anyone should put themselves in danger. I just realized that fear was going to stop me from having fun when I was a kid, because I got my C-class license for diving with tanks when I was about 10 or 11 years old. And my father was a diver, and we used to dive in areas where there was lots of sharks. So there was always the potential of being bitten and eaten by a shark. And the fear of it was terrifying me. So one day I just decided, I'll make it okay for the sharks to eat me. And every dive after that, I did the same thing. And in making it okay, the fear went away.
Yeah.
That is so true. That is so true. And Rochelle, before you have to leave, and I'm sorry that you have to go, but I would love for you to ask any remaining questions that you might have before we go to break.
Yes, really, I loved hearing your story about the boat, and I'm wondering, is there one more story you could share with me that was a huge life lesson or a turning point in your journey along with that, that you can share with us as something to learn from?
Good question. I joined the street gangs when I was a young teenager, because I was in boarding school, and at boarding school they'd put me in the tower because I was disturbing the dormitories. I don't know how. Anyway, I was put in the tower for 2 years, and nobody ever checked the tower. So I used to be able to go out at night time and go a couple of kilometers or a couple of miles away, and there was a gang that used to meet underneath a bridge close by. And I went and joined that street gang, and I became the gang leader eventually. Now, what happened during that period is my girlfriend got invited to do an encounter group, and it was a 4-day live-in encounter group, and it cost her $400 or something like that, which was a lot of money back then. Now, I thought she'd been ripped off. So I went along to these guys with every intention of beating the money out of them. And I asked for the money back. And they said, no, we're not giving it back. And they said, why don't you do the group? And I said, no, I don't want to do the group. They said, what is it that you're frightened of? Now, that got me, because I saw in my own mind that I was a hero. And they said, what are you frightened of? I said, I'm not frightened of anything. Well, why don't you do the group? And I said, okay, I'll do the group. I did the group, and it was a 4-day encounter group. And it was intense, because back in the 70s, encounter was really rough. The room went dark after we'd filled out a psych profile. The lights went out, and a spotlight came on. And the spotlight came on me. And then a voice out of the darkness says, you asshole, get out here. And that was the beginning of 12 hours of them taking me apart using my psych profile. And that was the beginning of my journey. Because what happened during that time is I've discovered that there was another way to live. There was another way that was more beautiful. Because this little old lady stood next to me after about 12 hours, and she said, you know, when I stand next to you, all I feel is a rock. There's no human being there. It's just stone. And it broke my heart, because she was right. I'd become like a rock. I'd become like a stone. And that little old lady changed my life forever, because I got rid of my studded belt. I got rid of my black uniform, because we all wore black in the gangs. And I put a 3-piece suit on, and I started selling their courses. And that was the beginning of a huge change for me.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
And by the way, we're talking with Michelle, help.
Vishrant Prem. And go to his website. It's vishrant.com, I do believe. And before I go, thank you so much.
It's
Vishrant.
.org. It's .org.
Oh, .org. Vishrant.org, and that's VISHRANT.org. And thank you so much for your time. I hope you and Kevin have a blast, and you have to promise me you'll come back.
Rochelle, that is a really unusual name. I mean, the girl that I was trying to get the money back for was called Michelle. That was her name. I ended up marrying her. But Brichelle, I've never heard of before.
Yes, my dad's name is Brent, and my mom's middle name is also Michelle. And they were smart enough one day to put that together. So I became a one and only, and it fits me for sure. I'm definitely a little unique.
Yes, that's a very unusual name. And it's been lovely talking to you.
You as well. Thank you so much.
She is a lovely human being, and you'll understand this when I tell you that I manifested her.
Of course you did.
We found each other in this life.
As compared to other lives, which we think that we were part of that as well. So, but that be that as it may, Brichelle, thank you so much. It's time for you to go, and we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more. Stay with us, everybody. This is fun.
Everyone.
I'm having a great time.
You're listening to Brushwood Media Network, the best in syndicated talk, news, and entertainment shows.
Are you looking for your daily dose of inspiration? Stay connected to all your favorite shows, music, and news with the Brushwood Media Network app. From Positive Talk Radio to Greatest Vibes Unplugged and so many more uplifting voices around the world, everything you need is right in one place. It's easy to use, too. Always available and designed to keep you inspired 24 hours a day. Go to BrushwoodMediaNetwork.com and download the app, and you will always have Brushwood Media available on your smartphone. Download it now and make inspiration and music and conversation part of your everyday. And welcome back to Positive Talk. My name is Kevin McDonald, and Vishrant is with us. And Vishrant, Prem. And what does Prem stand for?
Okay, so the name is Prem Vishrant, and Prem means love, and Vishrant means restful. And so my full name is Restful Love. And I was given that name by a guru in India because I was not restful and I had no love.
So he was encouraging you to become more restful and to have love.
Oh, the name was a teaching. The name was a teaching, absolutely. And it took me years, because having a name like Vishrant in the Western world is quite difficult because it's so different.
Yeah.
And in those days, I used to have to wear orange clothes as well, or red clothes, because I was a disciple of Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh, Indian guru. And I changed my 3-piece suit for a red outfit and a mala with the picture of my guru on it. And that was quite a shock to everybody I knew.
I have to ask you, because my personal journey started when I was about 42, and I was in corporate world and a district sales manager and all that stuff. And I had the thought, why am I really here? What am I really here to do? And that led me on a mission of finding out a little bit more about myself and why I'm here and what I can contribute to the world in a meaningful way. Is that, was I deluding myself, do you think, or was that a real honest to goodness thought that I had? And it was a thought that I had that for the last 20 years I have been doing radio. I've got 2,700 shows, and they're all along this line because I think it's so important that people like you have a voice that can talk to people about living a better life and understanding what that means. Does that make sense?
All seekers are questioners. All seekers are doubters. All seekers are lifting the rocks to see what's under them. They're all questioners. You're a seeker.
I am, and I'm. Go ahead.
Sorry, the seekers check out to see what life's about. They doubt what they've been told, and most of us have been filled up with. We've been brainwashed with a whole pile of ideas that aren't even true.
Yep.
And so for me, I've been a jumper. Whatever it's come along that's dangerous, I've jumped into. And I jumped into sannyas, which was so weird because I had a office with 35 staff members in it, and they thought I'd gone completely bonkers because suddenly I was rocking up to work wearing red clothes and wearing a mala, and they didn't get it. They didn't realize that their boss was still the same guy who took care of them. And I took a spiritual life because I was called. I was called to it. I had a vision when I was in a group, and in the vision I was looking down a big water tunnel, and at the end of the tunnel was this little Indian guru guy going, "Come here, come here, come here." And I saw it, and I recognized who it was. It was Bhagwan 𝐬𝐿-𝐴𝐺𝐻, Osho, what he's commonly called. And I decided to take sannyas, and I went and lived in America with him for 2 years in 1984 and 85, and then in 89 in India. But it changed my life so much because a lot of the mystery school that he was running was about the way of the heart. And I got involved in it heavily because I was lacking heart. As a businessman and as a street warrior, I was too hard. I was too harsh. I was too defended. I was too out of touch with what was really valuable in life, and that's love.
Do you think that part of your journey was to experience that and experience the lack of love, so then you could move into the experience of total love more completely?
I didn't know I was lacking it because I had never experienced it. It wasn't until that adventure on the boat, and then adventure when my first daughter was born, because when I was past my first daughter, I felt that unconditional love again. It appeared again out of nowhere, and it was just so wonderful. And I realized, my God, this is valuable. Everything else I've done is not valuable compared to this. And I'd been quite successful in the material world, but it wasn't valuable compared to this love. This was the real deal, and this was what was worth going for. And this is what I dedicated my life towards, finding this and living as this and working as this. In Buddhism, they call it the noble path, the way of the heart. And I've lived the way of the heart for the last 40 years because it's the only way to live.
I've often said, and I believe thoroughly, that this was part of my mission before I was even born here. Do you believe that, do you understand, do you have an understanding that your mission before you were even born here was to become who you are and to help other people become who they're destined to be?
It was the only chance I had, mate. There was no other chance. Because I started remembering past lives when I was a kid, and I didn't want to do it again. I know that we're moving to another subject, but the Hindus they understand past lives, and I started remembering them when I was 10 or 11, and it shocked me because I couldn't believe it. But I've been here so many times before, it's not funny. I was sick of being here. I wanted out of here. And the only way out of here is enlightenment. There is no other way.
That is so true. And as you have gained enlightenment, we've heard that expression a lot. And a lot of people will say, I had an enlightening experience, but I was enlightened for a week and then I was back to normal and stuff. Can you describe what enlightenment was and is for you? Because you are in it now and you've been in it every day since you became enlightened. Is that correct?
Correct. There's no sense of Vishrant here. The sense of I has completely gone. The sense of oneness with the universe is always here, every moment. The sense of separation doesn't exist inside of me because the ego is not here anymore. My life is dedicated to helping people get free. I have no other purpose to be here. And I love life and I love you because love is in the air everywhere I look around.
It is everywhere. And that is our natural state. But so many of us don't recognize that is our natural state of being for whatever reason, because of money, because of position, because of ego and all that kind of stuff. When did you discover that your ego was gone, basically?
I was in a group with an enlightened teacher and doing what's called mystery school. And I found myself absent as far as the I was concerned while I was with the teacher. And I thought I put that down to the energy of the teacher because he was an enlightened teacher. But he went away after the retreat and Vishrant never came back. The Vishrant I never came back. He's been now missing for 26 years.
Have you ever looked for him? I'm just kidding.
No, not at all. It's a very different. You can't compare ego-based reality with being-based reality. You just can't make a comparison because there is no comparison. But let's put it this way. I'm profoundly content for no reason.
Oh, but I think you have every reason to be content because you are you. And you are extraordinarily special as being you, as, by the way, we all are. But is it true that you recognize yourself as being you, as being a special human being as part of the universe?
Heck no. I see myself as you. And I see myself as everyone around me. I see myself as the walls, the roof, the floor, the sky. I see myself as everything because I am everywhere. And so are you. It's just a matter of where your awareness is at. There's a thing that's aware of the mind, and when it becomes aware of itself, that's called a satori or a glimpse. When it stays aware of itself, it's called enlightenment. Awareness that was aware of my mind is aware of itself continuously now for 26 years. And at the same time, awareness can be aware of itself and also out here with you, which it is right now. So I'm playing in the world with you, but I'm experiencing self as the universe and not a personal self.
Because the universe ultimately is all there is, and we are all a piece and a part of the energy of the universe, and we're all one, and we're all connected. Am I correct in any of that?
Not completely, because you're still seeing yourself as separate in some way. I don't consider myself a piece of the universe. I am the universe. That's different. That's different.
You're right. It is. Because that, yeah, go ahead, expound upon that.
Well, as long when we're ego-based, we see everything as separate from ourselves, because that's
Mhm.
how the ego works, and it works everything out with reference points. I don't find that I have any reference points, and I haven't found any reference points for myself for 26 years. I'm just the vast emptiness, or the vast everythingness, or the vast nothingness that exists. But so is every other human being. It's just that they don't know it. They don't experience it. It's not that it makes me special. I'm exactly the same as you. It's just that in my consciousness, awareness has discovered itself and locked onto itself. That's all. That's the only difference. We are one. We are the same.
Yep. And I firmly believe that, because when I was reading Conversations with God, I grew up Lutheran and very conservative circles and stuff, and I didn't buy into any of that. And you're right. When you said that I'm a seeker, I am a seeker, because there was a point in time when I said this isn't enough. This isn't right. There's more.
Yep.
What more is there that I'm not seeing? And so I went in search of that, and have been in search of it, and the people who are creating it ever since.
Yeah, well, most religions create you and God as separate. I don't
Correct.
buy that deal.
Yep.
I'd say that we are one with everything, which is actually the definition of God. We are one with everything.
And if we as people, if we all would recognize that we are all one, and it doesn't matter what we look like, it doesn't matter who we love, and that we are all connected and that we're all one, it would change the world, don't you think?
There'd be no wars, there'd be no murders, there'd be no theft, there'd be no anything negative, because we'd all be into love. And love is the thing that's going to save this planet. There's nothing else that can save it, because greed is currently killing it.
Yep. And the hate, division, and fear that right now is rampant in the United States, that needs to come to an end. And I'm hopeful that we will all end the hate and the division and the fear, because it doesn't serve anyone.
No, it doesn't. And, we all want the same things. We all want to be happy, and we all want love. Every human being wants the same things. We have different ideas about politics. We have different ideas about countries and what we should be doing in those countries, but they're just ideas. What we all want is happiness and love. We all have that in common. And if only more people just went for happiness and love, the place would be a much better place.
It would be a lot more fun to be here, I can tell you that right now, because
Yeah.
yeah. Because I've done a lot of NDE studies and past lives and things, and the common denominator of everything at its very core is love. There is
Yeah.
nothing else.
Yeah. We're on the same page.
And the folks that I've talked to that have gone through an NDE, and they'll say the love that exists on the other side is far more than anything they've ever experienced here on Earth. And I would like to see us bring that kind of love to Earth, because that's the only way we're going to make it, I think.
You're the only one that can do it, though. You can't rely on anybody else. You have to be the vehicle for it. And you become the vehicle for it when you, as an I, start to take a back seat and you put love first. Because whatever we put first wins. Whatever we put first wins, whether it's sport, business, or love. So I put love first, and it wins.
Every day, all day.
Every day, all day long.
And I'm willing to bet that you have got a dedicated group of people around you every day who, they don't worship you because you're not to be worshiped. You're respected and you're loved. which is different than worship.
They're very different. They're my friends. We don't have hierarchy. I don't buy hierarchy. We are all one.
And we all have our gifts, and they're all good for all of us, and stuff. I just love talking to you. You are an amazing. You know, how do you say to someone like you, you're an amazing man, because you're not going to accept that, are you?
No. Because I don't accept criticism or flattery from anyone, because why should I? How we are one. We are not different. Making me special or making me bad is out of touch with reality. We are one.
Exactly. And as being one, you help with your website, and you with the courses that you teach, and the videos that you create. You help people understand that a little bit better, so that they can. Well, let me ask you, all the courses and everything that you're doing it out of love. I know that.
Yeah. Well, I'm a heart teacher, a reality teacher that teaches heart, because I believe that heart is the only thing that's valuable here.
And for so many people have trouble touching their heart or opening their heart. How do you recommend that someone who is deciding that what they've lived is not enough, and they want love, how do you help them understand and to be able to activate that?
You can only really find love in openness. And so the practice of openness is enough. If you practice being open every time you find yourself closed, it'll change your life forever. But you have to practice it, because more than likely you have default patterns of being closed, being defended. Those default patterns can be changed, but only through repetition of practice of being open. And that's up to you, because only you can do the practice. Nobody else can do it for you. And so I practiced openness for years, because I recognized that it was the way towards heart. It was the way towards love.
And it works. You are a living example of that.
I'm a living example of it, because I came from a dark place. I came from being a street warrior, a thug, to someone who just loves everybody and everything.
I got to ask you, some of your fellow thugs, when you were a thug, have you been in contact with them since, and they're saying, boy, you're different?
Every now and again I run into one or two of them, and they usually just out of prison for a while,
Before they go back in, of course.
When I decided to leave my companies, I left my town as well. I walked around Australia. I left my family. I left my friends, because I didn't want to be drawn back into a life I didn't want anymore, which was heartless. And so I walked around alone for 4 years in search of my heart, eventually found it, and decided that I needed to go back to school to learn some skills so I could help people with. So I went back to university, and I trained as a psychotherapist, and I trained as a naturopath, so I could have some skills to help people with. And then I worked for many, many years as a naturopath and as a psychotherapist, helping people with their problems.
I have often said that service is the highest calling a human can have. Is that true?
Well, it's the way of the heart. You see, when you find love in yourself, you just want to help people. And so that could be called service. So I'd have to agree with that. Service is a beautiful way to live. Self-service, which is selfishness, is the way to misery. Selflessness is the way to basically happiness. We find so much joy in giving. We find so much misery in taking.
taking taking doesn't work any for me, so giving is what being of service to others is the highest calling, and that's why one of the reasons why I do this, Vishrant, is that I want to be of service to as many people as I can. I want as
Yeah.
many people as I can to listen to your message, because it's important, not for you, not for your ego or any of that. It's for them to find their own way that can be different and that will then lead to love.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Love is the only thing that's valuable here. Nothing else is valuable. Everything else is like tinsel on a Christmas tree. It fades away. Love is the most beautiful thing. It's the true jewel of consciousness. But the way we were educated, the way we were brought up, most people are out of touch with it because they're too closed. We find love in openness, in undefendedness. We find love in vulnerability, not in being big, tough guys, but in being open guys and open women.
You're exactly right. But you know, because of the experiences that you've had and the fact that you've made a lot of money and you had the big boat and you had the, all the stuff, it validates who you are now, because that's not what drives you or motivates you. What drives you and motivates you is the fact that we are all one and sharing love with everyone.
Indeed. Indeed, indeed, indeed. I love people. I love human beings. I also love dogs, but I just love.
You
And
know,
when you can say you love, you're a rich person.
when I was married, I loved my dog a lot because he was the only one in the house that I could guarantee would wag his tail every time I came through the door.
You
Everybody
can't
else had
expect
an
your wife
agenda.
to wag her. You can't expect your wife to wag her tail, mate.
I kept hoping, but that's. I have thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. I hope that you've enjoyed being on our show.
It's been lovely meeting you, Kevin. Yeah, it's been lovely meeting you, and I support totally what you're doing, spreading what we call the Dharma, or the teachings of love.
It's all there is. It's all there is. And
Yep.
if we could recognize. By the way, the spreading of love is free. Being kind to people costs you nothing. As
Nothing.
a smile at somebody who hasn't been smiled at in 3 days can be a rewarding experience all by itself.
Well, when I go out to cafes, I say hello to everyone I see, because I understand that there's a lot of lonely people out there that no one communicates with. So I say hello to everybody.
And I can tell you this: I'm willing to bet, because I've been I've been doing this for over 20 years, and I've met a lot of gurus and or people who claim to be. And you know what my biggest validation that they're not that is when we go sit down in a restaurant and they treat the wait staff like a subservient person rather than an equal, and to take care of them. I want nothing to do with those people after that, because they don't get it. They don't get who
No,
we are or why
they
we're
don't
trying.
get it. They get it. The waiters are there as our friends, and they should be treated as such.
And they're every bit as equal to us. And in some, I used to be a waiter, so it's a hard job. And so
I was a barman. I do
oh,
understand.
yeah. So, you and I. Now, I was never in a gang. I was scared to be in a gang. So anyway, but Vishrant, go to vishrant.org, and it's Vishrant. He's got courses that you can learn from. He's got videos that you can learn from. It is an important thing for if you have a if you have a calling and you are dissatisfied with the way your life is going now, there is a better way, and love is the answer.
It is
And
indeed.
And I want to thank you so much for being here. I have thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. And I hope that you'll find it in your heart to come back and see us again, sir.
I'd love to, Kevin.
You are, and next time we'll be able to keep her shout for the entire hour, I promise.
You're okay, mate. You don't have to prop yourself up with a pretty woman. You're quite okay.
Well, the only reason I manifested her because she learned so much, and she is, but I have a whole team of people that I work with and we're all together. We're all one with a common mission, and there's no boss. There's no employees.
The same. We have a team here too, and we all work together to spread this message of love, to spread the story that love is the only way to live this life, and that there are ways to get in touch with love.
And go to vishrant.org and you can find, at least it's a beginning and a start, and you will learn more than you know today. And that's a good thing.
Well, thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, young man. I keep calling you young. Well, we're in the same generation, my friend. So,
oh yeah, we are. I got a feeling I might be older than you.
Well, a touch, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Just a tad.
I'm 68 years old, so
I'm 71 currently.
See, and that's so we're very close. You would have been a senior, and I'd have been a sophomore in high school. So that's
something like that. Well, I wouldn't have made it to high school anyway.
I want to thank you so much for being here. It's been, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again.
Likewise, Kevin. Likewise. Love to you, my friend.
Love to you as well. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And I hope this episode has meant something to you. It has clearly meant something to me. And have a great night, everybody. Thank you for being part of Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, where stories inspire and voices remind us of what truly matters. May today's conversation give you hope, courage, and a reason to keep moving forward. And just remember, till next time, be kind to one another because each other's all we've got.